I don't understand what the obsession with a guy who effectively was just a sperm donor. Hello folks and welcome to today's vlog. We're doing something a little bit different today, as a lot of you will know because you will have seen them appearing most evenings. I am streaming more and more often now over on YouNow. I stream 4 or 5 nights a week over there, usually about 8 PM UK time, sometimes as late as 9 PM UK time, and I stream for like half hour, 40 minutes or so while I drink a cup of coffee, and we just do a little Q&A most nights, and it's really cool. It gives me an opportunity to answer any questions that you guys have got. We have a little bit of a chat. It's a lot of fun. It gives me the opportunity to actually have some conversations with some people other than Anna and the kids, because one of the big things since I left work over a year ago now is that there are times when I can go for an entire day and only talk to those people, and as much as those people are great, it is nice to talk to some other people as well, and the YouNow streams give me that opportunity, so they are a lot of fun. But doing it more and more often, and having done it a little while now, I'm starting to notice that there are a number of questions that come up rather a lot. So what I'm hoping to do with this video is similar to the FAQ video we did for the YouTube channel like 2 months ago, where me and Anna answered the most commonly asked questions on the vlog. I'm putting this video together to answer the most commonly asked questions in the live Q&As, so that hopefully we can stop having to go through them on the Q&As every time and open up some space for some more questions. So what I'm going to start doing from now on is when people ask one of the questions in this video, I'm going to point them at this video rather than answering the question on the Q&A. So I think that makes sense. Let's get into the questions. This is one of the most commonly asked questions that I get, especially from the people who are watching on YouTube, because although I am streaming on YouNow, they also dual stream onto YouTube as well, but I can't see the YouTube chat. I'm only interacting with the chat that's on YouNow, because it would break my tiny brain to try and follow the chat on 2 different platforms. So we stream onto YouNow, the Q&A happens on YouNow, but it is simulcast onto YouTube, so the people who don't have YouNow or don't know about YouNow can watch along. They can't get involved in the Q&A, but for a lot of people, they don't want to actually ask questions, they just want to watch it, and that's fine. That's why it goes on YouTube as well. But there are a couple of reasons that I do it like that rather than just streaming straight onto YouTube in the first place. The first one, the biggest one, is it's all about not having all my eggs in one basket. Similar with my Football Manager stuff, I have my Football Manager YouTube channel, and then when I do live streams for that, I live stream onto Twitch rather than onto YouTube. For me, it's important, as someone who provides for their family based on the money that I earn from doing this internet stuff, it would be irresponsible of me to do everything all in one place. If I did both my channels on YouTube, my Football Manager streams on YouTube, my live Q&As on YouTube, if everything was on YouTube and YouTube changed the algorithm or moved the goalposts or demonetized me or any number of these things, we would be in serious trouble. Whereas by spreading that risk a little bit, yeah, YouTube is always going to be my big home base because that's where most of you are, but if there's the opportunity to build an audience on Twitch and build an audience on YouNow and build an audience on Instagram and Twitter and all these other places, it just makes sense to create as much of a buzz in as many places as possible, so if any one of them were to ever go away or change how it works, at least I've got the other ones to fall back on. And yes, if I lost all my YouTube income, we would still be in serious financial trouble, but nowhere near as bad as if I didn't do Twitch and YouNow and Patreon and all these other bits and pieces as well that balance out our income portfolio, which is a very social media-y way to describe. I get paid by lots of different places rather than it all coming in one go. There is another reason though why I actually prefer streaming on YouNow to on YouTube, and we talk about this quite a lot in the streams, and it's important that you hear me out on this one and you don't take this the wrong way, because obviously you are watching this on YouTube. But what I find, I have streamed on YouTube before, we've done the Q&As on YouTube in the past, and what we often find is the chat gets very toxic very quickly. It's just the nature of YouTube. I think we've got to the point in the comments most days where most of that stuff is eliminated and eradicated and all the bad eggs have been blocked, but for whatever reason we get a different bunch of bad eggs come along when we do live streams, and I think it's the fact that you get the immediate reaction, you get there are other people there seeing what you're typing. It just encourages the people who are going to be scumbags anyway to be double scumbags with bells on, and you get some really hateful, disgusting stuff in the YouTube comments. And you don't get that on YouNow, and the way I describe it when we're talking about it on the streams is the thing with YouNow is because it adds that extra step between where the person is and where I am. It makes it so that actually, you know what, the ones who are really bad are probably too thick or too lazy to register a YouNow account, so they'll just carry on spitting out their bile on YouTube that nobody sees, and I can just go about my merry way on YouNow. And the chat on YouNow is delightful. In like 3 or 4 months over on YouNow, I think I've maybe had to block 4 or 5 people. That's it. And I would have to do that in 5 minutes on the YouTube streams. Now, like I said, hear me out all the way. 99% of you here on YouTube are absolute heroes. You say lovely things in the comments every day. You always give me thumbs ups. You're massively supported. I wouldn't be where I am now without you. I wouldn't be able to support my family without you. I do massively appreciate you. But there are some morons who spoil the fun for everybody. And by adding that extra layer of difficulty to watching the streams, it eliminates the morons. And for me, that is worth it, because I don't think I'd be able to do it 4 or 5 nights a week if it was 4 or 5 nights a week of me taking constant abuse. I am just a human after all. I get this question every time I stream. He's usually in bed. Usually I'm streaming when Anna is giving Andy a bath or putting him to bed, or after he's gone to bed. And it's really just to give me something to do. I have that little pocket of time where Anna and Andy are upstairs. There's no one else about. I've got nothing to do. It used to be when I used to record my Football Manager videos, back when I wasn't making them during the day. And now I stream. And yeah, that's where Andy is. That's why he can't come on camera. And no, he probably won't do live Q&As with us very often ever, because the times we have tried to do it with him, a few of you will have seen it, he generally hates it. He doesn't like the camera being on constantly. He doesn't like being bombarded with questions. He just leaves the room. So he doesn't enjoy the process anyway. So we may as well do it when he's not around. We have talked about this one in videos before, but we do still get asked it a lot. So to try and clarify again in one place, he's not going to be doing GCSEs at the moment. If he was at a mainstream school, he would be going into year 10, or would have just gone into year 10, so would have started studying for his GCSEs. He's not yet at that point. Contrary to popular opinion, there is no time or age where you must do GCSEs. There's the time that mainstream secondary schools do them, which is the end of year 11, but you don't have to do them then. We saw with Anna last year. She did her science GCSE age 33, so you know, he can do them whenever he's ready to do them. So maybe one day he'll be ready to do them, he'll choose to do them, and he'll do them, which is great if he chooses to do that. He may never be ready, he may never want to. That's fine too. I wonder why I get asked this question. Could it be something to do with what's behind me when I do the streams? I haven't counted them. I don't keep record of it anywhere. I have an awful lot that haven't made it behind me yet, because I haven't updated the whole display area for about 6 months. I would, if I had to guess, I would say I've got about 150. It could be closer to 200 now. When I eventually sort through everything that we've collected in the last 6 or 9 months, I will be doing a video showing the collection off, and I will count them and catalogue them, and we'll finally have a proper answer to that question. But until now, there's the ones you can see, and probably that many again that are still in boxes in storage effectively. For all intents and purposes, yes, YouTube is how I make 60-70% of my monthly income. It is what I spend the majority of my days doing. If I was in a court of law asked what my occupation was, I may well say I'm Andy's carer. That's what I left work to do, but I don't actually get paid to do that. Carer's allowance is a thing you can get in the UK, but I earn too much money from doing other stuff to qualify for that. As soon as you earn more than £100 a week from any other source, you can't then claim carer's allowance. So I guess legally, officially, maybe I'm not a carer. I guess I am a full-time YouTuber, but I also stream on Twitch, I stream on YouNow, I write books. So okay, I get paid for books I've written in the past. I do other little bits and bobs here and there, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, I'm a full-time YouTuber, and it doesn't pay as well as you'd think. No, No, you can't have a shout out. And not because I'm mean, but because if I gave one person a shout out, 10 more people would ask for shout outs, and if I did those 10, there'd be another 100 people asking, and before long the entire stream would be me doing shout outs, the entirety of the vlogs would be me doing shout outs. It's not that I don't want to do them, it's that I don't want to have to say no to some people and yes to others and be seen as having favourites. It's better to just have a blanket no to everybody. And as I've said to loads of people before when they challenged me on that, if you really want me to say your name, the best way to do that is to ask an interesting question as part of a Q&A, because then I'll say your name as part of answering it. But I'm not just going to say, "Hi Steve," or whatever else it might be, just because Steve wants me to say hi, because as much as Steve might absolutely love that, everyone who's not Steve couldn't care less and doesn't want to watch it. I was a computer science teacher, so I taught computer science from ages like 11 to 19. My preferred age group was 14 to 19. I did it for about 5 years and it was super fun. I add on to this question that I forgot to make a pretty little question card for. I don't plan to go back to it. If YouTube stopped tomorrow, I might do, but I might do something else. I don't really miss it, but as far as jobs go, I enjoyed it at the time. I think that covers all the questions about teaching. Okay, didn't quite cover all of them. Yes, I do have some tips for school or uni or exams. One moment. I even wrote a book about it, The Lazy Student's Revision Guide. It does say it's by David Chapman. That's just you can decide whether that was me using a pseudonym for whatever reason I might want to do that, or the dog wrote it. Either way, this is the book I wrote. Look, it's full of words that I wrote. I wrote all these words. And this is one of the reasons I'm not fully a full-time YouTuber, because I still get paid for selling this every month. It's regularly been the #1 selling book on Amazon in the UK for, not just in general, for education and study skills and that kind of thing. And yeah, it's probably still now the one piece of work I'm most proud of. It is good. It's really good. I don't quite know how I had that in me, but it's really good. So that's where all my tips are, and because I've got so many tips that I wrote a book on it, it is hard for me to give you a 20-second here's some tips on your GCSEs thing. So as much as it might sound really salesman-y, if you really want to know my thoughts on how to do well in GCSEs and exams, read the book. If you're not sure whether you'll enjoy the book, if you go onto Amazon, you can get a free trial just like you can on any book, where you can download the first 10% and get an idea if it sounds like the sort of thing you'd enjoy, and move on from there. But you know, even the full version on Kindle I think is like £2. The actual book is like a £5. I don't know the exact prices, but it's all on Amazon. The link, I'll put the link down in the description so you can have a look at it if you want to. But that's where to get tips on exam success. It's not just for GCSE, it covers A levels, it would apply in other countries as well. There's nothing specific to any kind of exam or exam structure. It's really just this is how you should study, or this is how I study, it worked for me, do it this way, it'll work for you as well, kind of thing. I don't really get this question. I don't understand what the obsession with a guy who effectively was just a sperm donor. He wasn't like officially a sperm donor, but he might as well have been. That's the full extent of the impact that he had on Anna and Andy's lives. He's not on the scene. He wouldn't recognise Andy if he saw him in the street. I've never met him. Anna hasn't seen him for like over 10 years. Andy hasn't seen him at an age that he would remember. He has absolutely nothing to do with Andy's life. He never will have anything to do with Andy's life. If he tried to get back involved at this point, we would tell him to do one. He has no rights. He's not involved. He will never be involved. All you need to worry about is that I'm Andy's dad, and that's how Andy sees it, that's how Anna sees it, that's how you should see it. Just because somebody else happened to get there first in the baby making process doesn't mean that they're magically more his dad than I am. I saw a thing on Twitter the other day which I thought was really cool. It was a quote from somewhere, and I can't reference it properly because I don't remember where I saw it or who it was quoting, but it was something along the lines of, he's not my stepson, he just happened to be born before I met him, or he's my son that happened to be born before I met him. Words to that effect. It was more profound when I saw it on the internet. This is why I don't do memes. This one we never give a satisfactory answer to, and I'm unlikely to give you a satisfactory answer here, because my answer is always we just don't know. Andy's got 5 more years left at school. He leaves school, or he can stay in that school that he's in now until age 19. He'll do 2 more years of normal school until he's 16. Then he has 3 years of post-16 provision in their sixth form centre as well. So he's got another 5 years in that school, and we don't have the first idea how he's going to develop, how he'll be in 5 years' time. Anyone who's been watching the channel for the last year even will have seen the huge progress that Andy's made just in 12 months. If he continues to rocket forward at that kind of rate for the next 5 years, then I would imagine what he'll do after he leaves school is he'll probably go to college, and he'll probably then go on to university, and then he'll probably move out and get a job. He might not continue to progress at that rate. He might never progress beyond where he is now. There's no way of knowing, in which case he'll probably live with us. In all likelihood, there'll probably be some kind of middle ground between the two, where he might end up in some kind of assisted living situation. He might have some kind of part-time job that he enjoys. Through Andy's eyes might have gone through the roof, and he might be able to support himself through YouTube, the way his old man does, in which case he'll probably just become a full-time YouTuber. We don't know, and the most important thing is it will be his decision when it happens as well. We're not going to plan his life for him, make his decisions for him. One of our big things as parents is we are all about his future being as independent as it can possibly be in all aspects of his life. So if he is able to live on his own and wants to do that, we will support him in living on his own. If he wants to stay with us, he can stay with us. If he wants to go and get a job, he can get a job. If he wants to travel the world and he is capable of doing that, we're not going to stand in his way just because we're afraid. So we don't know what's going to happen when he leaves school, but whatever it is, it'll be what he wants, and fingers crossed it will be awesome and he'll enjoy it and have a great life and be happy, which is what we want for all our kids. It's no different for Andy just because he's got autism, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the way it should be. And that brings us to the end of the live stream frequently asked questions. If there is a question, if you watch the streams regularly and there is a question that you always see and I haven't answered it, feel free to let me know down in the comments. And if there are any that I think, yeah, I really should have answered that one, I'll put the answer down in the comments and pin it so that we can make sure that people can find those ones as well. But I think I've covered off just about everything. If I've missed loads, I'll have to do another video in a month or two maybe, but I think we've covered everything off. Make sure you do come along and check the live streams as well. If I've tempted you, if I've piqued your interest here, I do stream on YouNow most nights, certainly weekdays, Monday to Friday. You'll find me on there. If you head over there between 8 and 9 in the evening, you'll probably find me at some point, usually about 8ish. Tuesdays are sometimes a little bit later because Anna's not here, but younow.com/lelujo. the link is always down in the description to these videos as well, and it would be cool to have a few more of you over there. It is a lot of fun. It's a lovely place for us all to hang out, and I enjoy it a lot, which is why I do it so much. But we will leave this video there. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for more daily vlogs, and thank you very much for watching.